then I can't hear you. I guess that's gonna be how that's gonna have to be. I don't know. Like, I'm just a tangle of wires. We need to figure out how to do this from the phone, I think. This is the very high-tech way of doing it. We must have lost live, and now we're gaining live, losing live. I have no idea. Now it's got a picture of a fence. Uh, but it is says we're live and it's still ticking up. But I don't know. Like, my opinion, you know this better than me, and this would probably be more beneficial if I was driving and you were doing this. Um, yeah. The other thing is like the laptop battery's not gonna last forever, so um, so the thing is, do you want? And so this is like me talking to you directly. Do you want to? Um, like I don't know what's going on. I don't know if we're actually live or if we're not. OBS says we're streaming. Um, this thing says that I'm connected. Does my phone say that I'm connected? Because, I mean, maybe that's the issue. Oh, um, and that guy that I'm supposed to talk over Discord with, he got out of work early, so he's available anytime now. I told him 10 o'clock originally. I have to remember to do that regardless. Yeah, I think it's connected because I have the little green thing over my time. That's where it tells me if I'm connected. So we must be connected. Okay. Um, well, yeah, I just don't know, like, as far as the chat goes, like, what the deal is. But, um, and again, I have to remember in, like 2 hours tops, I have to, Discord call that person. Starlet. What about, you want to hear about his entire 2.5 months of existence? Okay. Um, well, the beginning of Starlet's creation was in my head when you were telling me about your game that had a party that consisted of two druids and a ranger. But then another friend got invited to play, and she was going to play. Oh wait, no, wait. It was back, and now I don't know because all I have is like a black screen with a spinny thing, like on restream. Maybe it's going. Yeah. So anyway, to talk about Starlet, maybe it's going out, maybe it's not. Um, all right, we are now recording because the recording is probably going to be better than Restream. Also, I don't know where the hell Restream is on here. So, you know what? Okay, I was gonna say otherwise I don't care, and I'm just gonna keep OBS up. So,
So anyway, guys, we're heading to Marilla, New York today, and Gary, whenever we get into a car, always talks my ear off about gaming, and he doesn't stop. So I figured that he could talk your ear off about gaming, and yeah.
yeah, I also thought that this would be an ironic pun of, the channel name is Roll With Us and the wheels in the van are going round and round, so maybe like we can all roll together. Anyway, um, so Allie had asked about Starlet, so I guess I'll start over then because that's missing the beginning of it. So Starlet's creation began in my head as I was listening to you talk about your game, and you said that you had a party of 3 players, and it was 2 druids, a land druid and a moon druid, and a ranger. And then one of our friends got invited to play, and she was going to play a wildfire druid. Use the right 2 lanes to take exit 293 for I-380 north towards Scranton. So I was like, well, how funny would it be if I joined? Well, the basis of the character creation was that um, the Simic, because the other characters have infused the world with other worlds like Ravnica and Zelda lore, but um, hmm, I had Starlet be a plasmoid that was being worked on by the Simic, and to tie the character to the party more, I made him be created by the father of one of the other characters. So I essentially refer to him as brother, and the way that Starlet was created was by infusing a slime with stardust. So Starlet literally has like stardust within him, within his blob form plasmoid body, and when he uses his starry form ability, those, instead of like in a normal character where you just get like the constellation glowing on you, like it actually like activates the stardust within him and it shifts to form the constellation and then glows through him. So I thought that was pretty cool. And then Allie is just amazing with the way that she um, allows expression of character concept so that occasionally Starlet can and or will display random constellations as like a divine means of telling the future. Not that he understands them, but like somebody else might look at him and see a constellation in him, and that might like mean something to somebody. Uh,
So you showed a constellation to uh, Kylun when you first met him, but because Kylun is from the Shadowfell, your constellation wasn't as bright, and he's our ranger, so it was the Archer constellation.
and usually it is one of those 3, the archer, the dragon, or the chalice. But I think that's really cool because my character has provided Allie with a way to interject whatever kind of foreshadowing that she would like. I'm almost like a marker board. Changes some depending on the players that and their character, but it's up on Star. No, that's not right.
18
18 years for what?
was playing RPGs together.
I don't think so. 2008. That's 10 and then 16 years. 16, maybe 17 at this point. I don't know. But anyway, it's close. And yeah, I was like still thinking about it. It feels like we lost a friend. And for anybody that is watching this that played in that, I'm sure you know what I'm talking about, but I don't want to spoil any possible future plots, but
Are you talking about
I'm
Marge?
talking about Marge. That was the most tear-jerking emotional situation I've ever experienced in a game. And you built it for weeks. So, um,
But what? Okay, so in the same campaign, what was the most epic thing that you did in that campaign?
that I did or somebody else did. Well,
Oh, because I think I know the two things that you're talking about.
well, the easiest thing for me to say is the most epic thing that somebody else did, and that was we were staring down a red dragon, I believe it was,
Yep.
and it was pretty much certain death if we stayed. But we were trying to protect the town of Fazidet, I believe it was, and the cleric asked for divine intervention to smite the dragon, and he rolled a 1 on his D100 and proceeded to freak out about how, of course, he rolled the worst thing possible, not realizing that divine intervention wants the lowest possible. So he actually critically succeeded that roll, and in an epic moment of divine intervention, the dragon was smote. For me myself, oh, oh yeah. I mean, I think the whole story arc with I don't want to. Well, I don't know because like the game changes every time. I mean, in the first time that you ran it, he didn't die at all. So I think can I say anything or should I leave it spoiler free?
It, it will completely change by the time I run this
Okay. So the very first time that she ran this, just to show that it does change every time, there's a wizard named Magellan, and he is like the initial quest giver. But in the first game, he didn't die. He ended up prisoner, and we ended up rescuing him in the end. Um, that was an epic 20th level fight against Orcus, where I spent most of that session true polymorphed into a white dragon flying around. Uh, oh, it was so much fun.
game. Magellan was a good guy in that.
But Magellan was good. And the other thing, so like I'm off track now, but I'll get to that epic moment for myself. But in that campaign, that first time of so I bought 2 extra pairs so we give them to people to use when we needed. Yeah, I know they needed an hour to tune, but also I don't think at that time we really understood attunement. I think we just like you could put them on and just go if if I remember right.
Is if you're not in the middle of the battle,
Yeah,
you could just put them on and go.
yeah,
You know, if you guys are hanging out at a campsite, there's no reason that we can't gloss over that hour.
yeah. Can I? I'm gonna flash to DC 20 quick because the attunement rules are actually pretty cool. Uh, you can attune to something for an action, and if somebody is already attuned to the thing that you want to attune to, then you make a contested charisma check. to see if you can break the attunement, which is um anyway, yeah, so we had wing boots and we would fly like pretty much everywhere. Um but then one of my other favorite things that ended up happening in that game was that one of the players, I don't remember how he got wish. He got not the spell wish, but was it a scroll? Was it a ring of three wishes? Was it a luck blade? I don't know. Somehow he got,
The Ring of Three Wishes.
yeah. So he wished, right, right. He wished for a bunch of stuff. The one thing was for an airship. So the nice thing about an airship and wing boots is we never had to dock the ship. We would just jump off the ship and fly to the ground. And then when we wanted to go back on the boat, back on the ship, we would just fly back up to it. So in that epic battle at the end, we were on our airship and we were being attacked by drakes or something. So I just like flew off the ship, true polymorph into an ancient white dragon, and started going to town. Um,
And I think was there cloud giants that was punching holes in your ship with rocks.
oh, at one point, yeah, yeah, that was pretty shitty. I think we, I think we actually had to run from them, if I remember right. I think so. But let's see. Some other interesting things from that first campaign that stood out to me. First, Silver Spoon, Scarlet Inn, having real world consequences. If I recall right, this was at the Magic College. I went there and was sleeping around with the students, and then I like pissed off the school and ended up with magical syphilis. So like, yeah, I mean, consequences. Uh, what else stands out? There was something else from that one.
I mean, I feel like you crit failed a couple of constitution saves there.
Yeah, I think so. Um, there was something else with that original silver spoon that stood out. What was it?
Nagasaki and Hiroshima
No, that was your first 5e campaign. That didn't happen in. I don't think that happened in Silver Spoon.
did because we got our house.
Yeah, but that was when Tom was playing
Yeah.
and Josh. That was the first
Josh
campaign. I think so. I think that was right around the time that you hired Josh to, and I say hired in quotes, but you hired Josh to kill Jim's character. Oh, yeah, but so yeah, that was the your first 5e campaign where you made a dagger of teleportation, um, and the warlock made it his pact weapon, so you could never disarm him of it, and he could always teleport away and or take the party with him. Uh, yeah, this is like a quarter now. Yeah, already. So, um, most likely this is gonna be like if we're gonna record, it's gonna be on a phone, which is fine because if you're driving, or if I'm driving, I don't care. We could pick up a event clip and I'll put myself on camera. It's fine.
Instead of
Yeah,
pretty New York scenery once we get to New York.
yeah. Well, it just depends if you want to save the battery or not, I guess. But that went quick. Because when we were at McDonald's, it was like three quarters. We lost half a battery already. Um, shoot, there was. I feel like there was something else. Oh, I remember now. Yes. Very early on, we were wandering around a town and we were getting pranked, and I had no idea what it was. So I just cast Sleep Centered on myself because I didn't think it would put me to sleep, but whatever was like trying to antagonize us, I figured it would. And I put a fairy dragon to sleep, and world consequences, right? Because so OBS disconnected, reconnected. I have no idea what this thing's doing. Um, there was a warning. Well, like there was like a bunch of missions, a bunch of like people asking for help, but there was no way that we were going to be able to get to everybody. And um, I might have ignored the calls for help from the fairy dragons, and by the time we went to go help them, they were all dead. So we went and killed the thing that killed the fairy dragons, I believe. And then once we killed the thing that killed the fairy dragons, me and the cleric spent uh, like a day and a half casting True Resurrection multiple times. But of course, that was before we realized the component rules, which I honestly still, for the most part, hand wave. But um, yeah, and I get it because, like, at least for Revivify Resurrection, um, although I am starting to kind of care more about the components, but not so much that you have the legit component for me, just that you have the gold on hand that you can spend to do the big thing, just so that it does tax something beyond a spell slot. But um, I think that you do require having the actual legitimate, like, diamond or whatever on hand.
I do, and I do that because it's still
Hmm.
or
Well, and then
or
I
it could be a whole quest to get the spell components that you need.
then I remember in the second uh, Silver Spoon, Scarlet Inn, whatever, that you made my wizard um, buy Magic Ink in order to scribe spells in his book. And then at one point there was a an ink shortage, so
But you guys never went to go look into that was a whole huge plot thread for Steph's character to like go back home and the mountains were taken over by orcs and it was like this big thing. Like the trail was unpassable. You
um,
guys just went to a different continent. Whatever.
so
See ya.
memorable moments from that game. Uh, the first one was me casting Fireball in a forest and catching the woods on fire and not being able to put it out, and then having to go to Magellan and ask him to put it out. Um, and then I was scarred from ever using Fireball again. Again, real world consequences. Um,
It's a real world consequence. It's in-game
well, yeah, but I mean like realistic consequences, I suppose. Um, but yeah, I was playing a lizard folk wizard. I rolled amazing for stats. Um, I think with my starting bonuses, I want to say I had um, maybe it was two 18s and a 17. Um, I don't know. Whatever I ended up with, it was really ridiculous. And I had, yeah, like amazing armor class for a wizard because the lizard folk is 13 plus dex, and I had a really good intelligence, of course, and constitution even. For a wizard, I had a really high con. Um, but one of the things from the lizard folk that jumped out at me is that they eat fingers. So I was collecting the fingers off my enemies, and then at one point I think I had like I was tracking them in roll 20. I think I had like 100 at one point. And if for roleplay reasons, whatever, I ate one, I would just mark it off. And yeah, it was pretty funny.
You can
Long
also
running.
try to hand
Oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Finger food. My character being an apprentice wizard was very distressed by that. So I had a ninth level spell scroll of mass heal, I think, or maybe it was just power word heal. I think it was power word heal. I might not have traded in a mass heal one. Um, I think it was power word heal, but I traded that in, sold that for like 50,000 gold, and then I learned about encumbrance because I could. But I just drove earlier, like when I was going to see my brother, and in fact, I'll be driving this again on Sunday, since we are nearing Scranton, Pennsylvania. So, um, let me see. Yeah, so I sold that, and then I had to buy a portable hole because I couldn't carry all the money, and okay, do so. So I bought a portable hole to store the money, and then I needed to pay somebody to bring Magellan back, and I think the best that I could find was somebody to cast reincarnate, but he reincarnated as an old human instead of an old elf, so he didn't have much time left again when he came back. And actually, I still have a screenshot on my phone, I think, of his final letter to me, Magellan's final letter to me saying about how please don't bring me back again, and one day you'll be a great wizard. So another touching moment, but um, I yeah, I brought him back, and then he died again. And right around that time, one of the players decided to get themselves captured by a smug asshole, and I well, I cast hypnotic pattern on him when he was riding a wagon down the street, and he was dazed, and I probably could have killed him, but I didn't because I didn't know him at the time, like know anything about him. I didn't realize. I didn't realize. Anyway, so I wanted to get my friend back. Well, actually, we tried to. Did everybody else get captured and I got away? I was the only one that got away. I think that's what happened, right? Everybody else was prisoner. Am I right about that? Or did they run and I ran?
you all ran.
Did we all run?
I think so. I think
I definitely ran. I turned in. We tried to break in.
right.
We tried to break in, and I turned invisible and I ran. I like turned invisible. I missy stepped. I ran. I ran. Because also at that point, I think we didn't know about the like bonus action spell casting, blah blah blah. And so I ran, and I ended up like I had all this money, so I'm like, I'll hire I'll hire a group of people to come and help me rescue my friend. So I essentially hired an army. I forget how many people it was. It was like I think it was like 50 people. I literally hired an army to go and try to recover our friends. I think it was it 50? I don't maybe. It could have been 40 barbarians, Minotaur barbarians, and 10 bards, because I thought like they could polymorph some of the barbarians into like giant apes or something to fight. But then there was of course